hello to you. Hello to you all, and welcome. I just wanted to come on this week just to explain not so much the actual incoming energies, but the effects that the incoming energies can have on each individual. So I just felt to do this live because we are in for an intense week, and how you react to that intensity is kind of why I've come on, to hopefully support you and hopefully empower you. As always, as I always love to say, because it's the truth, if what I say doesn't resonate for you personally, then just let it go, okay? But as I can see people are joining, I'm trying to talk right from the start of these lives now, because I believe that it seems to be the only way captions come up when I transfer it to YouTube. So usually I start by being a bit quiet. So this is weird, having to chat right from the start. So just waffling a little bit, and to allow people to come and join. It's really alive about this week in terms of the energetics and the potential for everybody. And that's what I'm really wanting to try and encourage, is your potential this week, no matter what presents to you from the outer reality to you this week. We will start with some wonderful news, which is that on the 19th, which is this Friday, there will be energetics coming in to the planet that will feel like a relief. So in other words, you'll feel uplifted. You might just feel, this is beautiful. Wow, I feel so much better than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. But just to start off and go through sort of old teachings that I've had for many years, is just that don't compare yourself and what you're going through to another person that is happy, joyful, in bliss, in a state of love. Don't ever think that, what am I doing wrong because they're happy and in a state of love and I'm not, I'm struggling and suffering. All it is that everybody is on their own sine wave, and we share a whole collective sine wave as well together. So if you're struggling and on a low energetic, then that's that point at the bottom where if you're wise, you'll observe it, and instead of being immersed in something that's happened, you'll just observe and think, okay, I'm at the low of my own sine wave right now. It's a 3-day sine wave for each of us. We always go through 1, 2, 3 days, and then we start again 1, 2, 3 days of our own sine wave. So if you're on the low of your sine wave and you're not feeling good, you're unhappy, you're miserable, you're upset, you're annoyed, etc., etc., all these human emotions, the way to empower yourself is to just remember the sine wave and think, okay, I'm at the low of my sine wave. Therefore, there's something here on this day, not tomorrow or the next day, but this day, that if I dive deeply within myself and trace myself back to my childhood, etc., I can free myself of this human feeling and reaction, okay? Because the idea is that pattern doesn't come up within you again. It's your consciousness presenting something to you so that you can see through it, through yourself, by doing that deep inner work on that low of your sine wave. And then what happens is you receive the revelation of what you've discovered within you, and it sets you free. And so you soar then. You go from the bottom of your sine wave and you climb, 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 climb. So that's where the gift is. It's always in the difficulty that we go through. and then you soar to reach the height of that sine wave. Okay, so never compare yourself to anybody else. All that matters is how you feel, and how do you want to empower yourself from that experience that you've just had, that could be upsetting, distressing. So in a way, I'm going to focus on the mental mind and the emotional mind today, because that's what's up for this week. It's energies that are coming in. We can't say this is because of the energies. We can't blame the incoming energies. Okay, I mean, you can if you want to, but it's not. The cause of how you feel is you. It's your reaction. So the energies are coming in as intensified energies, and these energies have been getting stronger and stronger and stronger for the last 5 days or so. Okay, I don't post about the energies as much these days, because everybody should be able to understand them by now and choose how to react to the energies. Because you can react, you can choose from within yourself how to react to incoming energies. You can be at the mercy of them in disempowerment, or you can change your energetic, change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your emotions, go into the heart, be in a space of love, and then those incoming energies suddenly are not distressing or disempowering or unmotivating. You experience euphoria, you experience ecstasy, you experience bliss. Why? Because you've chosen the heart above the personality and the mind and all those programs that operate within the human personality. So do you see? You are the power. It's you. You're not at the mercy of any incoming energies ever. In fact, you can empower from every single energy in every single moment you exist. You've just got to choose it. Just have the awareness to see how you're feeling and choose a different reaction. Wow, it's hot in here. Okay, so if I start shining, meaning perspiring. So, in terms of the incoming energies, they are, it's hard to say it in an exact way, but there is an underlying gift for everybody with these incoming energies. But to receive that gift, which will free you, literally, you've got to do the work. You've got to be the observer of yourself and not be at the mercy of the illusion, not be at the mercy to what presents to you in your self-created reality, not be at the mercy to incoming energies. Because every time you are, you're disempowering yourself. So these energies are ultimately set to empower you, but you have to choose it. And the way to choose it is always through the heart. So come Friday the 19th this week, there will feel like a relief. The energies are going to suddenly change. If you feel incoming energies, you'll know what I mean. Is those energies will suddenly change, and it'll just feel like, that's over, that's done, okay, and that's on Friday. I want to try and talk a little bit plainly. Sometimes I am too subtle, so in a way, what I'm about to say now, it's really like I'm holding my heart for you, and I'm holding your hand, but I'm going to speak quite directly and plainly, and the reason being is I'm trying my best to help you choose to rise and empower yourself. Okay? So whatever happens this week to you, whatever circumstance arises in your life, in your reality, what's underlying this week for everyone is to choose love. And not just love for self. Okay, we can just choose love for self, but that's not inclusive, it's selective. We can just choose love for ourselves and a few friends, a few family members around us, a few people that inspire us, but again, that's selective love. It's the human having that free will, so to speak. We won't talk about free will because it would take too long, but it's that human having that free will to select who they love, and that's not inclusive. It's not God inclusive, because God is within everyone, everything. So this week, in a way, is like a thunderbolt that will trigger people in a way, because when they're triggered, they get to choose how to respond. And they can choose to respond from the human personality, which has many, many coats and overlays and layers to it. And each personality has, an increase in this layer called anger, and an increase in this layer called introvert or lack of confidence. There's lots and lots of overlays to the personality, and we just all have different parts of them to different degrees. But there's a higher choice. And that's what's presenting this week for everybody, is to choose love of everybody. To choose love of everyone. So it's not about really what presents to you, or who presents to you, or what circumstance presents to you, or what experience you suddenly find yourself in. It's not about that. It never is. It's about your reaction to it. That's what's up for everybody to look at. Because when anything comes into our field, into our experience, if there is no trauma within us, there's a trauma that's, say, unresolved from childhood. If we've got any type of unresolved trauma, then something will happen in our life experience. It will present to us, and it will come up to us like this, and it's just going to hit that trauma. So it's coming into your reality. It hits that trauma, and what happens is you react. If that same experience came into somebody, the exact same experience came into someone, but they didn't have that particular trauma, then that same experience would come into the other person, and it would just pass through them and out of their field. Do you understand? I want to see if I can show you that in a different way rather than just doing this with my hands. I'm just going to see if I can find something. Okay. So say that's you. Say that's your field, okay? Never mind that's you. You're in it, okay? You're inside that. And let's say that orange is your energetic field. If that human inside there has had a trauma in their life, it will have created some sort of defense system against that happening again. And it comes from the ego, but it's a defense. What that means is something or someone or an event or an experience can come and present into your life, and because of that trauma, it hits you. It hits you. It doesn't pass through. And so that's why I say it's not about what comes to you. It's about how you react to it. And that is what is up this week. Because sometimes, if I may say so, and I say this in such an understanding way because I've walked this path, obviously, right? God only knows I have, right? Is the reason I say this is because what we tend to do is react from our human personality first to events that come and present to us. It's always the human personality that reacts primarily until it doesn't. Until all those layers are shed and dissolved. So what can happen when something comes in to your field, yeah, where you've got the trauma, is people can, whether you're awakened or unawakened, it doesn't matter, you can react and blame the outside. Well, I'm upset because this has just happened in my life. This experience has just happened, and so it's because of this experience, yeah? It's because of this experience I am upset. No, you're upset because of your reaction to this experience. So, and let's take a person now. A person can come into your life and, be in judgment of you, be in anger of you, hold resentment for you, lie about you, put you down, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Are you upset because of what this person said? And the answer is no. You're not. You're upset because of your reaction to what that person said. And the reason you react, you're triggered by either that person or that situation that you find yourself in, is because the human holds a trauma that they're holding on to in that energetic field. And so it just hits the trauma and you're triggered. You're upset. In whatever shape or form, upset comes up and arises within you. Okay. This is where there's such a depth to releasing the trauma. Because if you can do that inner work and trace it back to when that trauma occurred, and then when that program within the mind decided to create a reaction to defend yourself, yeah? If you can just clear all of that, then what happens is that same similar situation can present again and it just passes through you. It doesn't affect you. You don't have a reaction. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stick here because you've cleared it. And so no pain arises, no suffering arises. Suffering of the mental mind and the emotional mind. And really, I haven't got a drawing, but really you've got a field here that is the mental field, the mental body, and then you've got a field outside of that is the emotional body. And so any pain, however that is for you, hits that mental body or hits that emotional body. Because the trauma has not been resolved, you get triggered, you get upset, and then blame this outer reality. Now, I want to talk about the blame of the outside reality because, again, this is where people aren't seeing how they can empower. Okay, they'd rather blame somebody. They'd rather think it's this person's fault. They'd rather think it's this situation's. This situation is why I'm sad, why I'm upset. Okay, but in that moment, they're in their humanness. You see, trauma is a direct result of being in the personality mind or the personality's emotions. It's not who you are. I keep saying it is. We have the human experience, yes, but we're consciousness. And we're remembering that consciousness so that we walk as consciousness with a human body. You know, it's in that moment of pain where we're deeply in our humanness that we're completely forgetting that we've created all of this. I'm sorry I laugh, but it's like a Buddha laugh, okay? It's just because eventually it is funny, okay? It's not funny when you're in pain. I do know that, right? From personal experience, it's not funny when I'm in pain and you're in pain. But eventually we see the cosmic joke and release that pain so that pain doesn't arise, so that we're not at the mercy of the illusion. We're actually the creator of the illusion, which we are all along. So it's at that moment of pain, reaction, trauma, that the human personality is completely forgetting that their consciousness that is outside of time and space, actually presented that situation to them to give them the moment or the chance of how to respond differently. And the response can be love or a lack of love. Or put another way, it can be love, or it can be the forgetfulness of love. Just checking that we're still live. Hopefully we are still live. Yeah, okay, we're still live. I think we're still live. If somebody could just write in the comments if we are still live, that would be wonderful. This is the problem. I don't have Wi-Fi. I'm not able to have Wi-Fi. Yes, we're still live. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's Divine. Hello, sweet. Hello. Thank you, Divine Roberts. Thanks. Okay, so it just understand that it's normal. Don't beat yourself up. It's normal to react from the human emotions or the human mind first. That's what we're used to until that changes for us, by us, within us. And that's why we're doing all this work, okay? Is to embody more of what we truly, truly are. So there's no need ever to beat yourself up for reacting from your human, from your emotions, from your mental. But then just to take the opportunity that day to go inward and ask, well, why did I react that way? Why do I feel this pain? Why am I so upset? Why am I so angry, say, you know? And go inward and do that work. That's where you can find the gold of a created behavior that you had to create in a way as a child in order to try and defend yourself from harm as a child, from pain as a child. So to not beat yourself up, there's nothing wrong with human emotions, okay? But are you those emotions? Are you those thoughts? And the answer is no. And that's really the intensity this week, is to give everybody that opportunity. It comes every single year. It's just that it's extremely intense right now, this week, to choose differently and to choose love. So I want to talk about holding on to pain, holding on to resentment a little bit. I've talked about this in the past, but I just want to go back to it. Just in a short way, is if there's any pain that you're holding on to from anything that's happened to you yesterday, the day before, last week, last year, 4 years ago, okay, why are you holding on to it? That's the question to be asked. Why are you still holding on to that pain? Dive deep. Why haven't you let it go yet? There'll be a reason, you see. There'll be a reason you haven't set it free from you. So dive deep if you're holding on to any resentment. Some people, have spent their lifetimes holding on to pain, not being able to free themselves of pain and suffering. And then they've passed on. They've transitioned with that pain and suffering. But this is where this whole momentum of ascension is changing one by one by one by one. The people of the world. It will do, because we're breaking these patterns. You don't need to hold on to any pain or trauma. It's up to you how long you hold on to pain. It's up to you how long you hold on to resenting a person for this, this and this, or resenting a circumstance about a job or family or relationship or job. It's up to you. How long do you wish to hold on to that pain or resentment or jealousy or anger or this, That's where you have the power, you see. You don't need to hold on to it. The only person that is suffering is you for holding on to it. Do you see? You are the one that can set yourself free. And you can do this. You're supposed to do this. Because others before you didn't know how to. They couldn't. And you can. Everybody in this whole world has the power within them to be that change, one by one by one. It's not about waiting for the event wave. It's not about waiting to be saved. You are your saviour. You literally have that power. How long do you want to run the programs? Hold on to events that happened to you that caused so much pain and distress. Do you see? You hold your own key and you can let it go. And that's what's coming up this week. In whatever shape or form that presents to each and every one of us, it's to let it go. Why? Because you're here to be more than that. You're here to become that, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like an upgraded or different type of human being. It's you. You're the one. So how do you do it? By letting go of what you were, by letting go of the experiences you had, whether they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago. Let it go. When will you let it go? When will you free yourself of your pain? So, let's just finally end with, how do you free yourself? You absolutely free yourself by doing that deeper inner work to see, where did that pattern originate from within me? Where did that pain point originate from? Because you'll see, if you trace it back and back and back, it will always be a misperception as a child. Because the child didn't understand the illusion. Do we ever, but it's an original pain point from the child. And so that child then operates or creates some sort of defense system. Now, my defense was to keep quiet and not say anything. Because if I kept quiet, then everybody's upsets would just pass all the more quicker if I didn't sort of like attach paper to their their upsets and their emotions. So I was the one that just kept quiet, knowing it would be quicker. Everything would pass away quicker. I just kept quiet and didn't back chat, didn't react, etc. Didn't stick up for myself. I was the one that kept quiet. But you see, another child would react by going, "Meow, meow, 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 meow," and react with anger and scream and shout. And so that they then inbuilt in them the reaction of, well, I will react with anger because that's how I can safeguard my field. Whereas I was, okay, well, I'll react by keeping quiet. So that's my way of safeguarding my field. But it's all a load of rubbish. It's not the truth of who you are. The truth is to see that it's all illusion, that all of those people, all of those circumstances were created by your consciousness for you to empower you. And until you see that, you can't take responsibility for your creation. And if you can't take responsibility for your creation, you can't embody the conscious creator that you actually already are outside of time and space. Do you see? So to always remember that the initial reaction will be human, because that's our predominant experience in this earthly form, physical form. Just accept that. Nothing to beat yourself up about. That's the norm. But then to look at the reaction. It's never about the outside. And you know, I know people can say, because I've seen it and heard it and watched it being written, and I know people can say, you know, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to fight, it's okay to rage, it's okay to be in trauma. And the truth is, it is. Yeah, it is. Because God isn't judging you. God actually doesn't judge anyone. Because God is pure, eternal love. So there's nothing wrong with reacting from anger, resentment, judgment, ego, rage, cruelty. God isn't judging that. God is experiencing that within all of those different facets. However, is that all you want to stay as? The human personality? Because if you're wanting to expand into your own consciousness and become the conscious creator, one by one by one by one, that makes the change within the people of the world, then you'll want to clear those behaviours that were just overlays. You'll want to let them go. You'll want to do the work that allows you to release them. So that's one way about doing the inner work. The other way, which kind of, you need both, okay? It's not one or the other, but you do need both, is to choose every time love. So you can react, say, from the human in your pain, react in that human suffering of mental mind or emotional mind, the mental or the emotional bodies, should I say. Just observe that, but then choose love. And that is the power of your choice. You can choose love. You don't have to choose love, but you have the choice to choose love. So, in other words, if something's presenting to you, we'll just have an example, I can't even think of something, but if something's presenting to you that it is judgmental, isn't nice, isn't kind, or you're in a circumstance that's arrived on your doorstep, a physical circumstance, a change of circumstance. Notice your initial reactions: fear, upset, stress, worry, blah, 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 hurt, pain. But then choose love. Then choose love. And as the human personality, people can find that hard when harm has arrived at their doorstep. So, they've lost their job, they've lost their home, they're in financial difficulty. Why? Because this and this happened. So it's all their fault. They're not taking the responsibility themselves for their own creation. If you choose love, you're going to give out that energy of love. That's how you change your reality into the reality you want it to be. If you just choose to react from kind of like victim mode, this is happening to me, you're disempowering yourself again and again and again. I'm upset because this person was horrible to me. It's victim mode. You're disempowering yourself, not empowering yourself. Do you see? I've lost my job. It's the company's fault that I'm in this situation, etc., etc. I'm just making things up. Everybody has different circumstances, I appreciate, okay? But take your power back. Don't be the victim of the outer illusion. Take your power back and choose love, so that you create your reality from that state of love. That's what we're here to do, and not create more dramas. You see, if we don't change our reactions and change our responses, we're just adding to the 3D and we're adding to the 4D. We're not changing it. We're here to change from a higher choice, a higher frequency, and create that as your world and your world and your world. So there's one point that I know I haven't kind of said, that I'm just taking a moment to remember, because I can't. I know what it is, yeah. So let's look at these traumas that you just haven't been able to let go of. It could be anything from any decade of your life, and you just still have that pain. Generally speaking, not as 100%, because we do have climate events and stuff like that in the world, and accidents and stuff like that. But generally speaking, a large part of human pain is caused by human beings being human, by how they choose to operate, how they choose to be, in terms of how they choose to treat others, whether it's governments, family, friends, partners. Generally speaking, a lot of human pain is caused by other human beings. So, how do you love them? This is the part that I really want to hopefully give you, so that you can go away and be with it yourself. Just be with it and see if it works for you. It may not, but just see. How do you love a person that puts you down, that judges you, that is cruel towards you, that tells lies about you, that gossips about you, that just has it in for you? whether it's a mother, a father, a child, a partner, your country, or whatever, governments, you know. This is where some people say, well, how can I love these people? But there is a way. The way is to realize that the only reason they act that way is because they hold pain. They just express it the way they do, just as we express it the way we do. My way of expressing pain is go brrr, and hold it inside me and carry it. At least it has been. Okay, let's just carry it. Hold on to it. You don't have to. So that person that reacts in an XYZ way to you, or treats you a certain way, how do you love them? By, you know, bypassing the words, because that's just noise. And it's also frequency emitted from them, so there's a lack of responsibility coming because they're not energy aware, okay? They're emitting that energy out to the world, and they're not aware of how that's having an effect. But to just understand that the only reason they come from their ego, they come from defense, they come from lack of responsibility, of ownership of their own actions and behavior. The only reason is because they too are in pain, and their pain may be expressed, released in a different way to you. So the way, if you feel you cannot love people because of whatever reason, it's to know that the only reason they act the way they do is because they are in pain too. Now, I want to go on a little bit, because what ties into that in some ways for some people is the empath, okay? Because there are many people, you know, awakened people, non-awakened people who are empathic. And part of the embodiment process is that we actually come out of being the empath. I was an empath, absolutely, all of my life. I would always feel people's feelings. I would take on their pain as my own. Okay, so I absolutely know what an empath is. But as we expand and remember our own energetic field around us, we then live in and from our energetic field, which means this is the only place we come from, our own, and it's bigger than this, okay? So I've described the mental body, the emotional body, but it goes on and on and on. But we operate ourselves from our own field out. And the more we become aware of our field and stay in our field, okay, the more everything just passes through us like this, just passes through. Because we're remembering our energy. We're remembering we're more than just human and human personality. So we then live from the field, not from the human personality. We live from our own field. Now, in terms of how that affects the empath, if you were an empath, and many people are, is what that means is you witness somebody's pain, but you don't take it on and it doesn't stick. You become the witness of their pain. You can understand their pain with the whole of your love. You can love them for being in pain. You can love them more for being in pain, for having that pain. But because you're in and own your own energetic field, you don't absorb their pain and it doesn't stick in your field. You don't absorb it. And so you witness their pain, however that is. It doesn't stay, it passes through you. And so you can hold a purer space for the one that is suffering, for the one that is in pain, for the one that is angry with you or judging you or lying about you or creating problems. You can hold a purer degree of love. Why? Because you haven't got that distortion of feeling their pain and then taking it as yours, holding on to it as yours, feeling it, okay? Feeling it as yours, because it's not your pain, it's theirs. So you don't need to hold on to it. And that's where the more we embody our own energetic field, you'll notice yourselves the less and less and less and less empathic you become. The empathic person was a stage, an experience. And so as you become less the empath, what you become more of is the purer love that holds your space, holds the space for everybody as just pure love, without trying to fix everybody, without interfering in other people's lives, without trying to solve their problems for them. Why? Why? Because you intuitively know that they are their own answer, that they are the divine energetic themselves, that they are a facet of God themselves. And the only way we do this is by ourselves. We do it ourselves. That is the key to your empowerment. It's you. And, this is why I have so much love and understanding, because I've come from that place where, you thought, well, it can't be me. The divine facet within me? No, maybe within everybody else, but no, not within me. That was where I came from. But no, you literally are that power, and so are they. And so you're not going to be trying to fix them, because if you try, you're actually denying them their own self-realization and their own power. So all you can do is point the way when they come and ask, when they're ready to ask. When they ask you, they're ready for an answer. And sometimes people aren't ready for an answer. So I'd say, are you sure you want me to answer you? Are you sure? Because I'm going to say whatever I feel is my truth. Are you sure you want me to answer that? So to not try and fix them, but just be there in patience, in absolute patience, that knowing that they are their own salvation, they are their saviour. Why would you deny them their own empowerment from within them? Would you want that for yourself, to be denied your own empowerment? So I shall leave it there. I hope, even a sentence of that helps somebody, one person. But just to remember this week, it really is ultimately, if you ignore everything I've just said, ultimately is about what you're choosing. Are you choosing love this week? Selective love? Just love for self? Just love for a few people? Or can you love everybody? Because that's where we're headed. An age of unity. An age of heaven on earth. This is what's coming up with an intensity. Can you love everybody? And if not, why not? Look at that. Because you'll get there. You'll find out why. And then you'll just blow that one out of the water and set yourself free of that limitation of just loving this person and this person and this person. You'll end up loving everyone. All the people that supposedly caused you harm and pain. You'll love them more. You'll be grateful to them, even, okay? Because They were presented in your reality by your consciousness for you to expand. They was presented specifically to trigger you so that you could expand, so that you could see your behaviors and your belief systems and your traumas. You'll end up thanking them for being that actor in your reality, in your film, because they helped you expand, and they chose to do that and signed up to do that at a soul level. And it's just, that's what love is. That's what love would do. Be the one that empowers you and play that part. And when you realize that, the love within you, the gratitude within you, and the joy and the peace it brings you, you can just let everything go. Let go of the trauma. It's time. Is it not time to let go of all your trauma? And if not now, then when? Because only you get to decide that. So set yourself free. That's what I say anyway. Set yourself free. Because you deserve it. And you can do it. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Believe me. Okay. God bless everybody. I hope that's helped in some way. And just sending you love. All of you love and support. And so much understanding. God bless. Bye-bye.